One of my favorite places, the Grammy Museum, is on a mission to make music education more accessible. It's expanding its Grammy Camp for high school students, and this year, applications are now open for summer 2025. Arin Canbolat is the VP of Education and Community Engagement, here to talk about this amazing opportunity. Tell people what it is if they haven't heard of this program.
So it's very much, well, one, thank you for having us. It's very much an intensive program. It's 7 days straight. It's about 9 to 5 every day. You select going into your tracks, so it's very much an industry camp as opposed to just a music camp. So there is performance, because that's part of the industry, but there's also a music business track, a production and engineering track, a songwriting track, and then in each one of the 3 cities that we're going to, there's sort of these niche tracks that are culturally representative of the industry there. So in Los Angeles, it's film scoring.
Oh, film scoring. That would be so cool. What are the other cities involved?
So New York and Miami. In New York, we have musical theater with another sort of sub-track within performance that's based upon jazz. And then in Miami, there's a specific DJing track as well as Latin music.
Oh, cool. This is the 21st year for this camp. Can you tell, if parents are hearing about this, what are you looking for with the kids that you accept into these camps?
Yeah, so I mean, we're really looking for students who have identified themselves as wanting to go into the industry, because it is very much an industry camp. So with that, there's no real requirements. The level, varies, and we just encourage folks to apply. They can apply it's still open between now and the end of March, March 31st. That's when applications close, and then they would be notified sometime in early May.
With it having gone on now more than 20 years, I have to imagine there's been success stories along the way. Tell me if you've heard.
Absolutely. So being new, I don't know as many maybe, but...
You've been in the job, what, about 6 months? But you're having a great time.
Yes.
This is a huge expansion, so you've got your work cut out for you.
Definitely. My first week on the job was actually Grammy Camp. That was my first week.
Really?
So I started on the 12th, camp started on the 14th, and that's where it is. But one of the big success stories is Maren Morris, who won a Grammy a year or so ago. She actually came to camp this summer and spoke to the students. That's part of it. In addition to the tracks with the faculty, we mix in guest professionals and guest artists who come in to just speak with the students and inspire them and give them a different perspective on the industry.
Well, that's what I think is so important. I think, when you're growing up, I know even for my stepson, it's like, I want to play the drums. Now I want to play the guitar. I want to, but these kids who are really committed to music, you do lay out so much of the industry, and there is so much more than just the actual performance piece of it.
Absolutely, and to that point, camp, even though you have these tracks and you apply to these tracks, what's sort of the magic of camp is that all these tracks converge. So students these days tend to be multi-talented or multifaceted, right? Maybe they play the drums, but they also happen to have a hand in production or engineering, or they happen to write songs. So within that, there is that opportunity because all the tracks converge and merge, and that's really the magic of it. You have the songwriters writing songs for the instrumentalists, who are then recorded by the engineers, and it's then all sort of put together by the music business students. So it's really to give high school students very much like a microcosm in a week. That's why it's an intensive of the industry. And we also host it in studios. So this year, and that was a shift last year to do it, we hosted it at the Village. This year we'll be hosting it at Evergreen Enterprise Experience, right over here in Burbank. In New York, it's at Engine Room Audio, and in Miami, it's at Art House Studios.
What are some of the challenges with the expansions to the program?
With extension, well, we're going into some cities that we don't have as much familiarity with, and in that, we're very thankful for our friends at the chapters. So at the New York chapter in New York and the Miami chapter, Kenny Cordova there and Nick Cucci. So they've been very helpful and instrumental with connecting us to different places. We need to find the studios that can house enough students to do it. These are big studios that we're going to because we need the space. Also, we want to make sure we're, reaching the students in those locations, and that's a lot of inroads, grassroots work, with educators and with schools, as well as with the chapter. But we want to, part of, you mentioned in your opening, the accessibility piece, and that's really what it's about. By bringing Grammy Camp to these different cities, it allows us to have students not have to travel as far. They can stay local, so hopefully it reduces the cost, it reduces the barrier to entry.
And how many students are we looking at admitting to these programs?
So LA is the biggest. It is the flagship in many sense. It's 90 students about there, and in the other 2, it's 45.
So it's competitive, too.
Definitely.
For kids. I think it's so special we have the Grammy Museum available to us here in Los Angeles. It's a place I love to go. There are some opportunities for people to take advantage of,
yes, definitely,
of that facility.
So starting this weekend, the museum is free for anyone under 17 years old. So
I just missed the cutoff. I'm just kidding.
So So with that, we have, we encourage families to come down and come through. We have a new exhibit that just launched as well that we will celebrate the main opening on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. It's called Sonic Playground, and it's very much about a youth experience.
Oh,
So everything's
cool.
very tactile, very interactive. There's different places where young people can sort of sing along, they can rap, they can do voiceover, they can create beats, loops, DJing. And then what's great too is, in partnering with the curatorial department, Jason, who is our VP of Curatorial Affairs, there's a career wall that lists over 120 different careers.
Wow.
That is very much, taken from what we do at camp so that students can understand there are these different avenues and pursuits within the industry that are not just the stigma of performance.
Yeah, so if you love music, you don't have to, you don't have to be the best singer or the best at an instrument. You can mentor others and coach and, sign people and do the business aspect of it.
Absolutely. If you look at for every one Beyonce, right, there's a team of 500
Right.
behind her. She needs lawyers. She needs...
Might be more than 500.
Yeah, no, very much so. There's companies, that might be, she needs songwriters, she needs arrangers, she needs producers, she needs engineers, she needs people who will handle her business,
Well, I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do this weekend, so thank you for helping me make my plans, and I can't wait to see the kids who come through the camp. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you.